Did you know that the traditional old English hunting whip was the direct ancestor to the modern actual Australian stock whip? Well, there were two main differences. Difference number one, instead of a heel knot, those old English hunting whips, they had kind of spike. It was on the bottom like this. It was on a right angle. It was from metal. It was from antler. It was from wood sometimes, and there were always a lot of discussions and ideas. Oh, what was the meaning of those things? It's pretty simple. In those days, when they had their hunting parties, and don't ask me what I think about hunting little foxes with, on horses. England was filled with fences all over the place, and with gates. And so they opened those gates from horseback, and so that they didn't have to get off of the horse, they just threw the handle over that gate, and they held it on the thong. And so they pulled that hook, that spike on the handle was kind of an anchor, and so they just closed those gates right behind them. So much for the mystery of the strange things on an old English hunting whip. The second difference was that between the handle and the thong was a piece of leather, just flat piece of leather, no braiding or nothing, just like this. And there too, a lot of people were thinking, "Oh, what was that for? What? Well, it was pretty simple. They used to put their hunting whips right over the shoulder, and with that flat piece of leather, it just did not slip from the shoulder. If you now imagine, if you cut off the thong, then you have that piece of leather. And if you fold this like that, what do you have then? Right, you have basically the keeper. And there you can see the direction where the whole thing is going. And from that point on, the idea was not so far away to say, okay, we're going to make a loop to the thong, and so we can both just connect. Why am I telling you about the traditional English hunting whip when the whole review here is about a stock whip made by Rachel McCollough? There's a reason. Just be patient. You'll see. Very soon, that modern Australian stock whip started to kind of separate in two different, species is a little bit, into different kinds of whips. Let's call it like that. Let's call it that. Thing is, you had one line of whips who became lighter and more fancy, up to 72 plait. Imagine that, 72 plait, although that is incredibly, imagine that this is like this strange like that. But those things became more wall hangers than real working whips. And that was the other kind, working whips. Simple made whips, very tough, rough and tough like an old leather boot. But they were just simple. And now with this whip here, I'm going to introduce to you those two kinds of whips. The fancy plaited one, the artwork, and the toughness of that old leather boot. And this review and this whip by Wolf Creek Whips, those two things come together.
You may love now, you waiting, ika, young, hey.
And here we have it. What you see here is a stock whip. Yeah, pretty simple. On the first look. On the second look, you see nothing. But if you look a third time, and if you go a little bit closer, oh boy, then you will see all the secrets, all the details. But I'll keep that for later, so you have to watch the whole review. It's like this. This is bocote wood. And if you look at this handle, it looks just, yeah, there are a lot of tapered handles. But, and that's the big difference on that line of Wolf Creek whips, this here was entirely made by hand. So, saw and rasp and sandpaper, and from a wood like that, well, this was the result. Not machine made, that's very important. Usually it's very easy, you have a piece of wood you put into your machine and then you turn it down. Yeah, sure. No. This one was made entirely by hand. And this is a lot of work. Trust me. Okay, so this is detail number 1. And now we come to the next steps. This is a keeper made from rawhide. And the same leather, which is used here, is used down here. This is just a little area which is covered with rawhide, like I said, the same like it's on here. So this is very nice from the colors, but it is enough to give you a secure hold on that whip. Absolutely. But I tried that. So what is the special thing on that whip? What is so special? The whole whip itself, this is a real working whip. So it's way more heavy than you are used by other stock whips. If you're looking for a whip, you can do those fast rotations, that machine gun style, like I always call it. Then this whip here is definitely not your cup of tea. No way. If you're looking for a whip on which you can rely on for the next, let's say, 20 years, then this is your cup of tea or your whip. Like I said, from the design, from the making, from the materials, this thing is a really tough one. And now here comes the interesting part. I mentioned before, if you look at that whip, you see nothing. Second look, nothing. You have to come closer, and then the whip reveals its secrets. I'm pretty sure you can't see this here on the video because you have to come closer already, but you can see this on the pictures. So watch them again if you like, or just still, and then you have here in that thong, I think 7, 8, 9, I didn't count them all, different patterns. And so this whip here is a perfect example of elegance and understatement. Like I said, if you look here, what do you see? No, it's a pretty simple thing. But like I said, again, watch the pictures, check the pictures and watch them very closely. And then you can see the details. This whip, for example, I don't know if you can see it. I hope you can see something, or at least then watch the pictures there. It starts here. Then here, there starts another pattern. Bird's eye pattern and some crossing patterns. Here is the next pattern. Then here is another one right here in this area. It goes up and here starts the next pattern. Like I said, this whip is It's simple looking, but it is not simple. So if you're looking for a heavy working whip that has the, what can I say? How can I call that? The extra, that extra life in it, then this is definitely yours, because it is really very well made. In my book, this whip is not for the beginner. The whole whip, like I said, it's very heavy, and you have to have a little bit of experience to handle it properly. I don't say that it does not behave wonderful when you crack it. No, absolutely. This whip is slow. It cracks very, allow me to call it meditative. If you just want to have it for, like I said, those one crack whips, these working whips, you just need one. Bam! Perfect. If you want to do routines with this whip, perfect too, but slow routines, okay? Not this stuff. I mentioned that before. I thought it would be probably better to mention this again. And there are the details. So what, like handmade, the whole thing handmade. And I mean handmade. Then here's a little detail. You won't probably see this, but I recommend to look at that and look at other stock whips, because very often I saw a lot of stock whips who are just on the top, here at the top, they are just cut, a flat cut. That's it. And over the time, the edges of that flat cut here will work their way through that loop, or through the keeper, whatever you want to call it now here on that. The thing is, it will work itself with these edges. Sometimes the edges are a bit broken, but over time they are still edges. And this one here has that little detail, like I said, really, I know, little people check for that. Just a few people, die mache ich noch mehr. Just a few people are really checking on those details. So I highly recommend do that. You can check it on the stock whips you already have at home, or if you want to buy one, check this before you buy, okay? Because this here, the top of the wooden handle that is in here, that connection, loop and keeper, this thing is completely rounded. It's like a ball at the top. So there are no edges who could work their way through anything, because there are no edges. Good. Then English eye. I love the English eye. Oh my God, I love it so much. You have the English eye right here. English eye number 1 for the fall. So all you have to do is you put this here. Oh my God, this is heavy. Wow, this is heavy. So you open this, you pull the fall out of this right here, like this. And then I won't put it out completely. And then you just change it. You pull it off here, and then you put on the other fall. A lighter fall, a heavier fall, a leather fall, who knows? But very important, on the fall, this whip is very nose heavy. That means it will pull forward. And if you install here a light-weighted fall, the whip will tend to flutter at the end, like an old flag. And that's something you don't want to have, okay? So the whole whip is nose heavy. The thong is very heavy. That's what I said when I mentioned the slow meditative cracking. The thong is heavy. It's nose heavy. The whip will pull forward. And yeah, that's a fantastic thing. Oh, and I forgot about the next English eye. It's right here on the cracker. So the good thing is here you have another English eye on that. That means you can change the cracker without cutting it. And that's an interesting thing. That's a good thing, a practical thing, because if you want to change a cracker that is worn out, you don't need even a knife. No scissors, no knife, no nothing. You just open it here and then you put it out and then you insert the next one. Or, just in case you want to try which cracker works best on that whip, you can try different crackers. So, English eye number 1 and English eye number 2. So, oh yeah, this whip it has a stamp on here that says Wolf Creek Whips, Rachel Stock 001. So this here is, ta-da, the first one, the first of its kind. And yes, it makes me proud that Rachel trusted in me to introduce that prototype to you. And there is one more thing. Yeah, I mean, what is a good whip without a certificate? Huh, mein Lieber? Okay, it says Certificate of Authenticity. I hope I said that right here. Wolf Creek Whips. This is to certify that this 18-inch Bocote wood handle is made by my Rachel McCollough's hands, shaped with a rasp, finish sanded by hand. No edit finish. There will be some tool marks and unique differences in shape visible. Type Rachel Stock, model 001. Featuring a detailed, heavier style nylon thong on a completely handmade handle with a natural kangaroo hide keeper and handle wrap. All materials from Whip Nation. Maker's signature, and so on, and so on. That's a nice looking piece of paper, isn't it? I think it adds a little bit of style to the whole thing. Certificates are always good. They look really nice. Okay, so I think I'm going to show you a few examples how the whip cracks. Yep, that's nice. Very good. And straight. So, if you're in with light-weighted whips, this is not yours, okay? Because this one is a heavy whip. This is a really heavy banger, and you can, if you like, if you need it, you can make a very loud noise. Okay, you can have your routines without any problems, like this. You can say this over here, like that. No problems at all. But a little bit slower. Yeah, this is Aua. Aua, ja. Ja, der war laut. Ui. Oh, der war laut. There, in my opinion, it's not good for the beginner, but if you are at least a little bit used to whip cracking, then this can be exactly yours. So, again, thanks for watching. Have a nice day. And if you're interested in that whip, Wolf Creek Whips, and tell Rachel my best wishes, and bye.